Alrighty. Stream is live. I don't know who's here. It'll probably take a minute. But, yeah. Just starting right now. Today, our goal in Sunless Sea, welcome back everyone, is to, well, basically to continue with the story. We have now explored, frog, every part of the map. To some extent at least. We haven't actually done things on every single island, mostly because of that particular case. No, you didn't miss anything, Zeno. And I believe that Dreamer's going to be coming today, for at least a little while, so that's going to be fun. No, it's fine. I literally just started. I was just explaining what we were doing today and that we're going to continue on the story. So the next part of the story that we need to do is we need to go track down the Fathom King. Because if you remember, we went to the turtle shell to find our dad's bones, but the problem is there's too many bones. And we don't know which ones are correct. I would say probably go with the ones that look human, but, you know, maybe there's a whole bunch of those. The Fathom King can help with that, because the people on the shell in it basically said, if the Fathom King will do this thing that we don't really have any context for us, then we'll give you the bones. And, well, I have a feeling that it's not going to be all that easy. This is a point that every single version of the Father's Bones quest goes through. Each one has its own, like, little storyline. If you go to a place, you find the people who know where your dad is, or the situation where you know where your dad is, but you can't find it for some reason, and so you need help from the Fathom King. The Fathom King is where all of it converges, and it's the main meat of the story. And this is going to be the big goal that's going to take us a while. Probably a couple streams before we can actually get around to finishing the game, because each ambition is designed to take you around basically everywhere. Let me load up the game at this point. And Father's Bones is no different. So the whole thing is designed to make you, like, basically run errands all over the Untersee. Although errands is a bit of a nasty way to put it. Let me check my hold. Okay, we still got Blemmingen. That's good. We have this Skitalac, which I'm going to be saving for something. We have 5 bales of Parabola, which we can safely sell. A live specimen, which we can probably sell. Unless... a better use for the live specimen. Spider silk we can definitely sell. Coffee beans will actually need in order to get something. So, last time we grabbed even more officers. We have all of these officers of different types, but we still don't actually have a cook. So unfortunately, there's Zeno. There's actually a great lack of cooks here. We're just straight up eating hardtack and salted fish out of the crates. Yes. Turn down the game volume? Alright. Let me see if I can do that. That should work. I can't actually tell until the music starts playing again, but it might also be because, hold on. My microphone's a bit far away because of my current recording situation, but I can, like, hold on to it sometimes. Is that better? Yeah, I'm actually, because of recording situation, I actually have to position the microphone on a chair next to my bed. Alrighty. So first off, read the morning papers as usual. You get supplies. Now in our study, I believe... Yep. Alrighty, so the thing that I was talking about where we can actually use the live specimen for something, we can create a serene aquarium. And this is a specific way that we can use to increase our stats about as high as they'll go, to 200. So, for the cost of 1 supplies and 1 live specimen, watch this Ichthyid enigma traverse the tank. Its motions are subtle and elegant. They induce tranquility. Perhaps, too, they reveal divinatory truths. So, oh, hey Dreamer. Don't worry, that's fine. Thanks for the good luck. And yeah, it does kind of sound like a spinoff, doesn't it? But anyway, we got 7 mirrors from that, which brings our current mirrors up to 58 with bonuses. But more than that, we now have the item Serene Aquarium, which we can equip to the auxiliary slot, which raises our mirrors another 7, meaning we're now at 65. We'll be finding firing solutions very fast in combat now. We still don't have much for the Venturer. He wants Skintalak, but we only have 1 of that and we're saving it. All sorts of little things we can do. Let's take the opportunity to rest once and lose terror. And now, as usual, we should turn in our port reports. There's going to be an important one today, because we got that comprehensive port report that we worked so hard on from the Empire of Hands. Oh goodness, what are those accursed monkeys up to these days? You didn't bring any of them back with you, did you? Such a ghastly place. You know, there was somebody here asking about it only recently. Delightful lady, as I recall, most delightful. Yes, I shall take the liberty of forwarding her your address. Oh, that's interesting. Also, we got 300 echoes from that. The comprehensive Empire of Hands port report, because the Empire of Hands is so far away, is the most valuable one in the game, but now that we've turned it in, we can't turn that in again. From now on, Empire of Hands port reports are updated, and you'll only get around 50 from them. And the rest. Nuncio. Ah, yes, the place that lures away postmen. One hears no end of complaints from the postal service. You've spent time in Myclogia. Dear me, I'm most terribly sorry. And a bunch of ones we've already done. Although, if you remember about the shell in it, we when we wrote that port report, we ended up mentioning the smell of the place everywhere, even where it wasn't really relevant. Is it still as revolting as they say? What about the smell? Apparently everyone does that. Ah, Station 6. One hears strange stories. That one's from Eigel. Gantpole, you're saying you've been where? Here they come, the smirking requests from every captain in the place, all wanting to know if you've found their lost pocket watches. By the time the clerk pays up, it's clear he's paying more for the amusement than the information. If you missed last time, the Gantpole is a real place, but it's also used as a hazing tool for new sailors, much in the same way as in real life, it's like, oh, go find me some headlight fluid. And unfortunately, we had to actually go there. Oh, geez. We are actually out of space, and I have to get rid of that fuel. Okay. Stopping for now. Let's sell some stuff. Can we... Oh. Okay. Spider silk. Check. Parabola linen. Check. That should get us enough room to deal with stuff. That can unfortunately happen sometimes when your hold is full. As you can see, our hold capacity is 34 out of 40 right now, after we sold 6 things. So, we have so much fuel, it's actually getting over capacity. Which is somewhat unfortunate. Luckily, those last 2 fuels were it. And our new commission is get strategic information from Khan's heart. That's going to be hard to do. Anyway, our hull looks fine, which means I'm going to take the opportunity, actually, to do something with the Cannoneer. Because, if you invite the Cannoneer to dine with you, which is normally the way you start off crewmates' quests, I've had enough to eat, thank you. I don't eat much, but I'd like to demonstrate some ideas I've had. Can you meet me on the afterdeck at 8 bells? And to tell you what kind of idea it is, we require 10 fuel and 5 torpedo components for this. The Cannoneer has found ways to calibrate your weapons for additional death and explosions. When the smoke clears, however, it is impossible to deny that the risk and expense of most of these tricks is a little too great. Only a couple of minor modifications are safe to use. But you know, the Cannoneer says, squinting thoughtfully, it reminds me of a story. The Iron and Misery Company were testing something, destroyed one of their outlying stations, destroyed it to bits. If you can find me the prototype, I can make it work for us. Can you take me to Demoe Island? I used to know the Factor there. He might talk. Okay. We did gain 1 iron from all that, so it wasn't a total loss. What else do we have to do before casting off? We've got all the things that we basically need, but we could probably use a bit more fuel and definitely more supplies. Oh yeah, you get a tail of hair because that was scary. I've mostly been glossing over when you get the story items because you get them so often. But yeah, it can be really funny sometimes. I'm also going to buy 1 box of candles for reasons. That will come in handy if we ever go back to the Gantpole. The rest of the torpedo components can be safely sold because I don't really plan to use torpedoes all that much. Plus, you can get them for free underwater, so... Is there anything else? Don't think there's anything else to buy. We can deliver Blemigans here, but it won't actually increase our propagation score. So I'm not going to do that. Oh, we are clay. What that literally is okay. So you can't buy that in London. You can only sell it. It's actually part of a sort of a money-making scheme later on. You buy it in Polythreme, which is what it is an item that equips to your ship, and it takes up several of your crew slots, but it makes your engines go better. What it literally is you have bought claymen, which are essentially slave golems, to work your engines. Oh, hey, this again. As, same as before, we can choose to get together with someone here. But I'm going to say no for now. Any new recruits? Do not want the brisk campaigner yet, because that's a major thing. The brisk campaigner officer is very dangerous to get, because her personal story takes a lot of really rare items and is on a strict time limit, so you shouldn't get her until you're absolutely ready, and you might not end up getting her at all. Oh yes, we have a present from the scholar. 2 supplies. Good. Can we sell anything to the scholar that's, workable? I do believe that intriguing snippets are, 50 echoes. That's pretty good. I think that's it for now. Or wait. Oh ho. We actually have something to do with the Rose Market for once. So if you remember, the Rose Market is a thing that shows up every now and again when you come back to London, and it's just random people buying random things for more than usual. So, for example, I can sell my Extraordinary Implication, which I don't have much need of right now, to Madame Shoshana the Fortune Teller. The Fortune Teller, under her many scarves, sips tea in a quiet corner of the market. She'll pay well for something portentous. Shoshana holds a mirror over her pot of tea. The steam fogs the glass. As is market tradition, you write your information to the condensation with a finger. When you have finished, there is a rustling beneath her scarves. A wrinkled hand emerges from the silk and places a fat envelope next to the teapot. For the knowledge, and your silence. 375 echoes. Not bad. I believe that is far more than the scholar will pay for the same thing. Let's rest. And back in the back when we turned in that port report, we ended up being told the address of a quote-unquote delightful woman who was looking for information on the Empire of Hands. And now we have an invitation to Benthic College. Benthic College is pleased to invite you to an exclusive and educational evening with Lady Agatha Treadgold, delightful adventuress and raconteuse of thrilling true tales of feist and spunk. On the back is a scribbled note. Come speak to me afterwards, darling. Opportunity beckons. This will take up 1 hold slot, but I think it's worth doing, because we'll be going generally that direction anyway, I believe. Darling. Benthik is the most open-minded of the London colleges. You find yourself waiting for the lecture in a queue of students, devils, and bohemians, observed with some scorn by passers-by in Somerset colours. Yeah, the two main colleges of fallen London are Benthik and Somerset. Benthik is, the very liberal, very scientifically minded college, whereas Somerset is a very traditional college, which is partially funded by the church. The delightful adventuress. Her feet have trodden lands most in the Neath have never even heard of. Her eyes have seen every opportunity for fame and glory while there. Whoever she is, she knows how to pack a hall. Not a seat is empty as she takes the stage. The fine cuisine of the Shelinet, the darling claymen, all but a prelude, my dears. Her stories tend towards the fanciful and conveniently unprovable, but the delightful adventuress has the credulous audience spellbound for hours. Many of her tales of monsters and lost cities have a common theme. She visited them ahead of a certain Lady Leonora Fortescue, the quite adorable darling archaeologist with whom she sparked a bracing rivalry back at finishing school. The rest are tales, bitter as the sourest grapes, of being cheated of triumphs by the very same Fortescue, whose fanciful fictions are fit only for penny dreadfuls. By the end, her stories are notably more bitter than boastful. She still receives a standing ovation. The delightful adventuress's masked clayman Barnabas escorts you to the principal of Benthik's study, where she sits sipping brandy by the fire. "Ah, my dear Capitano!" Firelight glints in her eyes as she raises the glass. "I hear you are recently returned from the empire of... monkeys? Hands! Yes, of course. It is a rare breed that can make such a voyage. Foolhardy too, perhaps." She sips her brandy. "I wish to charter your no doubt fine vessel to that primitive little island chain. There I shall find what I need to show up that infernal Leonora Fortescue once and for all, and you—" The delightful adventuress squints, sizing you up. "Sufficient compensation will not be a difficulty. A most mutually beneficial arrangement, you will agree." Do we trust this person, at all? Yeah, we can, accept or decline. I'm going to accept, but... I'm not the only one, am I? Something's off about her. She seems a bit... overly... she seems like she's buttering us up, Splendid! The delightful adventuress drains her glass dry. "Then we shall see you upon the morrow for the voyage. Barnabas, pack my valise. Adventure awaits." I do think she has been confirmed to, go on adventures of some sort, but I do agree that the Empire of Hands might be a bit much. As for the rest of things here... I'm going to dry dock the ship. No, that's not going to work. I would have to pay 100 for... I could just repair the ship, I suppose. Is that everything I have to do? Check, 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 check. I think that's check. Let's be off. So, current plan. We're going to want to head down to Fathom King's Hold, which, since it's near the Iron Republic, I'm going to go there and top up our fuel first. We can probably also stop off at Demoe Island in the meantime. After that, at Fathom King's Hold, we can, well, for reasons you'll find out, we're going to want to go over to the Empire of Hands up to Eastival, and then up to Irem, and then double back through Port Cecil and the Sea of Lilies until we return to London. So that's the plan. Right. So since Demoe Island is directly in front of us, we'll start by doing something that actually I haven't done very often. Normally, this is kind of just a quirk of my sailing. I normally like to go directly north or directly south of London. I very rarely go straight ahead. Mostly because since the coastlines don't change with each game, straight ahead is the only direction, well, non-diagonal direction, where you don't know what's there. And we're already having nightmares. Wonderful. The sea churns in your wake. You pull away from the eye into the shallower waters of waking, but a terror clings. Your dreams have passed. That's good. Isn't it? Right. Here we are at Demoe Island, and the Iron and Misery Company funding station. As a note, the Iron and Misery Company is, well, they're engine makers back in London. So these guys are, that's what they're doing here. They're, for some reason, studying fungi for engine purposes. Or something? That's a bit odd, actually. So we can search for the last constable, which was that thing we had to do for that criminal overlord, with a 10% chance of success. Which, no. You join the Fungers at their tables, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The same faces turn up every time, without fail, to hear about your Z adventures. One weepy finger presses his hand into yours and fights for his composure. "Thank you, Captain. You're the only thing that eases the monotony," he says. The others swallow their fungus reluctantly and nod. Unfortunately, the constable is not here. The irrepressible cannoneer is convinced that the Factor knows more about a weapon, the company's terrible prototype. You'll need a bribe. It's only fair. Yes, if you pass the challenge, she would be there. The idea is that, while you're looking for her, you're not going to find her immediately, so the chance is 10%, but each place you don't find her raises the chance for all the other places. So the next place we go to might be 20 or 30% chance to find her. And if you, go to every single other place, except, the last one, then the chances of finding her in the last place is going to be 100%. The game actually likes to do this quite a bit with several different things. Anyway. You'll need a bribe, it's only fair. So 200 echoes, which we can definitely afford. Even with the bribe, the Factor is reluctant to talk, but it seems the Cannoneer knew him in the old days, and he's even more reluctant to have the Cannoneer talk about the old days. Finally, he gives in. It was a place called Eastival. Do you know it? It's a striking place. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. It's east, a long way east. We took it off all the maps. Not that maps last at sea anyway. That's all I know. Now, shall we let the past lie where it fell? My apologies, sir, but no, we will not. We can actually here trade weird things that we've caught in the ocean for one of those Sooth and Cooper long boxes, but we don't need those right now. Port report, as usual. And let's spend our something awaits you exploring the island. Oh, rat corsairs. Ah, the gully. The ambusher's favorite terrain feature. It looked like such a short and easy way, but now a sudden flood of black and white fur confronts you, a starving torrent of Ratisfaber corsairs. Their chief addresses you in a piping, unhuman voice. Easy there, me giants. We're in dire need here. Lend us help and we'll pay well for it. No need to fight. But you notice his rat hand is on the hilt of his rat cutlass. So, we can give them what they want. 3 supplies for drowning pearls, which are actually fairly useful. On the other hand, we could refuse the trade, and they'll attack us. There's a 40% chance of us not losing crew from that. Since supplies can actually be bought at sea, I'm going to give them what they want. You're not bad for a door filler. Not bad at all. A pleasure doing business. Should you ever find yourself beneath the floorboards of Khan's glory, look me up. Calm seas. So we paid 3 supplies for 5 drowning pearls. We'll find out what those do at some point. And in fact, we can get our supplies back immediately for just a little bit of money. By the way, how's the music volume in relation to my voice? Is it better this time? Okay, awesome. Because of like feedback reasons, where if I have the stream going, it'll just cause a feedback loop that'll be very unpleasant for anyone, I can't actually hear the stream myself. It's been a while since we've explored an abyss. I'm going to check what this one is. Here's the Abyss of Scriptures. But on the other hand, this is going to be serious hull damage. I'm going to go for it. Okay, we lost 10 hull. That's workable. Your helmsman obeys the order silently, driving the vessel even deeper down. Soon the submarine creaks against the pressure. The weight of the Z is crushing, and though your shell can hold, it suffers. Your submarine's pinprick of light shines onto a cliffside, illuminating only a spot of a vast inverted cathedral, a fathomless church. Your submarine's lights illuminate bas-reliefs carved into the walls of the chasm. God, my tongue. They depict men and women rowing from a sunless city, then, far at sea, scuppering their ships. Symbols etched into the walls flicker with fire. The church's niches all possess the same decoration, statues of men and women standing before a door, bells in their hands. Follow their example. You swim into the nave. Your bubbles float upward, towards the tiled floor. Though the mosaic is entirely black, there is form in its formlessness. At the end of the aisle is an archway. Inside, a kelp rope floats upward from a deep chasm. When it drifts within reach, you snatch it and pull. A great weight moves at the other end. You pull again. It rings out. Once, twice, thrice. The waters stir. A strong current throws you into the nave and carries you back out the mouth of the church. You have made yourself known. Congratulations, that is step 1 of meeting Lady Black. That's a wreck ship, and I'm out. Excuse me a moment. Sorry. Right. All we're doing here at the Salt Lions is taking a quick visit to the Unmakers in order to lose some terror and get ourselves a port report for later. Even if you don't plan to do anything at islands, it's usually good to stop at them if you can because of port reports. That's free money and free fuel, which is more free money since normally fuel costs money. Oh yeah, also we have to go to Rack. I do say that you probably shouldn't necessarily dive just to get port reports, because diving can be dangerous. But in this case, we have something else to do at Rack. If anyone remembers, Rack is an entire city of pirates on the seafloor made up of the corpses of hundreds of sunken ships, as you can sort of see there. So, port report. Last time we were here, we couldn't progress because to progress we need to have a relationship to the fair king of Rack. The Wreckers fear and adore their king. With the right offering, you may be able to meet him. And we have one Skintalak. Sometimes it happens in this way. The rusted walls behind him are draped with 2 banners made of the tattooed flesh of his amputated legs. He is admiring the Skintalak through a jeweler's lens as you enter. "We are pleased. Tell me," he says, looking at you. "How would you—" Good God! He wheels towards you. His voice is hoarse. "We are not strangers, you and I. Taste the tether and see for yourself." Well, that's something. This guy starts off like being a king, and then he sees us, and he goes, "Wait, I know you." As far as we know, we haven't met this man in our lives. The Wreckers look on you with a quiet awe. They whisper as you pass, "Tethered to the king." You know, if he were another street urchin from our gang, we would probably remember him, but we don't. So, the thing we can do at Rack is we can make the city better by going wrecking. If you can lure ships towards Rack, the wreckers may sink them. The king himself will reward you. A little Gillifleur tells me that there's someone you should speak to in Guider's Morn, trespasser. Why not make a friend and send them over this way? And we can get 2 assignments at once. A miner hangs on the arm of a poet. That's your best work yet? No one could resist? The poet shrugs. Its success all depends on the talker, and the audience. But they're pretty receptive in Port Cavendish, aren't they? I'm sure we'll have another one sink over Rack in a week. Although that might be to warn them. I don't remember exactly how that works. And again, that's all for now, but... Or actually, we can open up the shops tab to see if there's anything we can do. Yeah, we can buy fuel and supplies for expensive here. And buy prisoner's honey and dark drop coffee supplies. You should taste the tether, but we can't do that yet. If I go back and do that, you'll see that we need scrap 1. Basically, in order to taste the tether, we have to have sent ships to Rack. Yeah, usually if I don't pick an option right away, it's because for some reason I can't finish it right now. That was the wrong key to push, but I'm not going to complain. I am going to check Port Cavendish, though, to see if I actually, if this works the way I remember it working. Yeah. Also, I'd like to repeat this just for, in case anyone's feeling weird about it. Please never be self-conscious about asking questions about this game. I love talking about it. Yeah, no. It looks like what this actually does is you can save the wreckers. But, like, these are people from Horrible Death Pirate Island with the memory-eating roses. I don't particularly think I want to help them. So let's just get our port report and be on our way. Our terror is still manageably low. We're at 17. That's good. And we're on a course for the Iron Republic, where fuel is cheap, so we can top that up as well. I'd just like to note, by the way, that the Delightful Adventuress is just sitting here in our hold this whole time. And she will be there until we get to the Empire of Hands. So, one of the reasons that we want to go here is putting a Blemigan ashore. Now, if you remember how the Blemigan thing works, we put one ashore, we lose one Blemigan, of which we have one, and we gain one propagation. But the Iron Republic is a bit different. The Blemigan spins boldly down the gangplank. It seems startled when it meets itself on the quay. Twice. Its duplicates bob solicitously, like ambassadors greeting their peers, and continue past it, up into your ship. The first Blemigan vanishes into the crowd. The other two peer up at you as if to say, "Are we quite finished here?" So, we got the propagation, but instead of losing one Blemigan, we gained two. Technically, we only gained one, but we traded one Blemigan for two of them, which means a net gain of one Blemigan. The Iron Republic is weird. We've got our port report. We got some hearts from the port report. That's nice, at least. And yeah, that's a good amount of fuel. 18. It says something that in a game this, like, surreal and strange, even the Iron Republic goes beyond even that and is just constantly surprising you with how bizarre it is. So our next destination is, of course, Fathom King's Hold. And let me check something. I believe we have, yep, Z stories. So yeah, the fact that we managed to get, what was it, 3 Blemigans? By the way the Iron Republic works, if you know to go there, 3 Blemigans becomes 5. We need 7 to get a thing. Unfortunately, you can only do that once, and the Iron Republic is the only place where you can, do that. Here's a note. Again, with people thinking this game is very difficult, I see a lot of people making the mistake of maneuvering their ship too much. The best way to deal with, like, ship stuff is to figure out where you want to go and just angle your ship that way, so you just have to travel in a straight line and not waste speed doing tight maneuvers. Here's the Fathom King's Hold. So, it's dark and damp here, with many crevasses where it can hide. The Blemigan should flourish, so long as it avoids the Fathom King's notice. This makes it look like this is a bad place to put a Blemigan, because it might make the Fathom King angry, or it might, Blemigan might just die. This is actually a great place to put a Blemigan, as I recall. An unexpected welcome. A gift from the Myclogean mother, the porter says dispassionately. Oh, dispassionately. The Fathom King will be pleased. Here, for your trouble. We actually get paid for bringing it here. This is because it's actually a slight hint. The Fathom King... Remember that mushroom, that giant mushroom that we got the Blemigan from? The Fathom King likes that mushroom a lot. Got our port report. And we have an audience with the Fathom King. The porter has the skin of a shark. She has a drowned woman's eyes. It is not permitted to look at her hands. Yes, she rasps. That story is sufficient. She opens the valves of pearl and permits you to pass into the conduit. So this is the Fathom King. The throne cyst. This is the salt-blown heart of the hold. The Fathom King floats in his throne, a gem-starred bowl of sea stone, the size of a banqueting table. He's wearing a dressing gown of purple brocade, soaked dark with salt water. He leans his chin calmly on his hand. Beneath the surface of the water in his throne, his hidden regions pulse, constantly, insistently. There's several things we can do here, but the one we really want right now is discuss the matter of our father's bones. Your complexity. I have a more personal petition. You know something of my father, or what remains of him. Your complexity... Oh wait, okay. His complexity is watching you. His eyes are cold as polished stones, but a smile lurks at the corner of his mouth, like an eel in ambush. Ask about the bone men and their lost treasure. Does the king have it safe? Yes. He crooks a finger, and a drowny child brings forward a pale bone on a moldering cushion. Most mortals come to this some day, the king remarks. I will not, of course. Perhaps you will not. But you'll learn more of that from the bone men. He flicks his finger again, and the child retreats. Your complexity? There is a question only you can answer, to open the final gate of my journey to my father's bones. I ask this boon of you. You are fortunate, the Fathom King announces. I have only a few small requests. Fulfill them, and I shall tell you what you need to know. Bring me the heart of a legend. Bring me a light from the sky. Bring me a willing guest to stay with me forever. Witness the end of the eldest among its kind. Bring me word. Bring me the fruit of an eternal tree. And bring me something scientific, modern, cutting edge, I believe is the term. My bride enjoys that sort of thing. He sits back, under regions pulsing with expectation. You seem quite capable, he adds carelessly. I'm sure it's not too much trouble. All right. Welcome to Sunless Sea for the next few streams. We'll be collecting these items. Most of these have multiple things that you can do for it. Just an example, there's 2 entirely separate ways to get the fruit of an eternal tree. But, yeah. These things are not easy to get. I can probably get somewhere around 2 of them this stream. Hopefully. and we actually still have something awaits you, so we can still ask for a regular boon. 5 fuel, nice. Black fire, the king intones, risen from the sea. Remember me with its vapors. He smiles directly into your eyes. The audience is over. You return to the surface. Hunched, plated, scuttling slaves haul baskets of wet coal behind you. Okay. So, here's the deal. I'm going to head over to the Empire of Hands to drop off the Adventurous at this point. And then I'm going to go diagonally up to Khan's Heart. Or no, technically Khan's Shadow, because there's something we need there. Then we head to Eastival, Irem, and then, like I said, back through Port Cecil. Today we will be getting the fruit of an eternal tree and a skylight. Which direction? Right. Towards the Empire of Hands. We'll be passing the Utter Shroom in the process. And I believe... Ah, yes, the Autumn Islands. It might be good to stop at the Mangrove College along the way. Lose 1 terror. The absolute hardest one of these to get is going to be the Heart of a Legend. Because most of those options involve us killing a really nasty sea monster. There are alternate options, though. And we have one of them, maybe. Let me just check how much we need. %21% chance from current Veils. Okay. That's workable. Basically a 1 in 5 shot. Ah, here's the Mangrove College. Which is a great name for a place, by the way. I love the Mangrove College. The wise and the wicked seek sanctuary here, where the fruits are plenty and the woods wild. The Mangrove College is named for its scholars and philosophers. They have long abandoned civilized comforts for the life of the mind. Sometimes they want those civilized comforts back. The principals, Port Cecil, black and white and silver, please take me there. Sooner or later, it doesn't matter. I know how complex the moves can be. And we have a checkered character. Compile a port report. Sages, scholars, philosophers, naturalists, poets, dreamers, here to pursue their rarefied ideals in a land of muddy fecundity. The thinkers of the Mangrove College continue their untroubled and sedentary existence. New schools of philosophy are born and die like bubbles. Extraordinary poetries are written in water. The occasional retired pirate tries, and fails, to get invited to salons. Basically everything at the Mangrove College decreases your hunger and gives you supplies, because it's just like, the place is covered in food. We can go into the Wispways, but we would need candles, more than we have. That's not why I brought these candles, so... Yeah, the Wispways are one of those places in the game where you can explore an area in, like... It's the same system, basically, as exploring the giant Nook sea monster's gut. And we can also convert our stories to secrets using fragments, which is actually cheaper than using those fragments to level up. So, for example, 7 memories of distant shores turns into 1 secret with 77 fragments. A dozen strands, a single knot. It all makes sense now. Or sense enough, at least. We're not going to do too much of that, but this is a very bad place to put a Blemmigan, because it will actually damage the island's infrastructure. I'm going to go ahead and gather supplies instead. You don't have time to stop and rest, but you can gather plenty of supplies. The college members will grumble, but there's enough to go around. Your crew strips a stretch of shoreline bare. It'll have burgeoned again by next week, no doubt. The Mangrove College isn't a very complicated place. It's sort of like Godfall, and then it's mostly just a fun thing that's there. But it's useful. Because it's one of those places where you can easily get a whole bunch of food. There's actually quite a few islands in the Mangrove College in this general area. Only one of them is one you can land at, though. That's one of the things that... It's not, I think, a flaw with the game. I think it actually makes just character. But there's a whole lot of places on the Z that I would love to explore. Ah, Stricture! Good to see you back, man. Best place to make money in the late game? I actually haven't, I don't really know any money-making schemes that involve the Mangrove College. I normally make money by sunlight smuggling, because I really don't care about my yearning burning score, and most of the time I want to get it up. So, let's visit the village. You got a memory of distant shores, it's the same one as before. And we take our port report. Ah, yes, the Wispways! Oh, now I remember. Yes, I have used the Wispways once before in a game to make a whole bunch of money. Yep, shrooms. Mycologia is one of my favorite, locations aesthetically in the game. Just because I just love the giant purple mushrooms. Anyway, dropping off the Delightful Adventurous. Unfortunately, we won't actually be able to progress that particular storyline unless we leave the Empire of Hands and go back. But we can progress a different storyline on the Empire. The devs actually have a whole thing about the Empire that they mention in a lot of blog posts, that it was one of their biggest jobs because, for fun, they put a whole bunch of different stories that you can do in the area. Unfortunately, we've approached it from a weird angle and have to loop around, but I believe we can go under this bridge. Yeah, generally, the trick is if a light shines through something, you can usually go through it. A delightful welcome. The delightful adventuress leans over the rail of the ship, sniffing the humid air with evident distaste. What a filthy, damp little place. Oh well, we shall endure. At the sight of the mare hobbling up, she straightens. A thin, insincere smile spreads across her face. Ah, you there, my good primitive, she calls, striding down the ramp and clasping his arm tight. Now then, I come in search of your first Emperor's vault, and for that I shall be needing a few things. Some of your finest workers and tools and food. Do you understand me? She shakes her head, barely waiting for a response. F-O-O-D, she repeats. Comprenas? Oh dear, I see we shall be here for a while. Listen, I hear you fellows rather like souls. Shall we discuss that like higher primitives? Barnabas stays to settle up while his mistress negotiates the value of her soul with the mayor. Yes, the delightful adventuress is straight up, like, casually selling her soul to the soul-stealing monkeys to do this adventure. Barnabas removes his mask with what looks to be a silent moment of great relief. Underneath is nothing. Just a flat surface where his face should have been. Ah, an unfinished Clayman. One of those flawed products of Polythreme that follow their own rules. If only you'd known that before he boarded. Of course, that's why the adventuress never mentioned it. He silently presents you with your agreed fee, dips his head in a polite bow, and lumbers back to his mistress. It appears that she has struck a deal with the mayor. Hi, Demiser of D. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah, you can actually sell your soul or lose it in several ways in this game, and Demiser of D is correct. There is no mechanical downside to not having your soul. But then again, there might be a emotional downside. You really like the whole mask thing, don't you, Dream? I've noticed it more and more, and it's just like, it's pretty cool. Also, welcome to directly participating in the stream for today. So, if we travel to Fountainhead Island, we can visit the camp of the delightful adventuress. The delightful adventuress, helped by her faceless Clayman bodyguard Barnabas and a small group of worker monkeys hired for the price of her soul, works to excavate the vault of the first emperor. The delightful adventuress has already uncovered and put aside many treasures. A small statue among them looks particularly interesting. Nobody's watching. At least, you don't think so. It's hard to tell with Barnabas's blank face giving nothing away. Can he see? He seems to be able to, somehow. In any event, he makes no move to raise an alarm as you take the small trinket. So, on later visits to this place, you'll be able to actually help her explore the vault. But for the time being... Wait. Hold on. I might be wrong about this. Can you actually do this right now? Oh. To rush, darling, is to court tragedy. The delightful adventuress pays barely any attention to you as she prepares. She is not yet ready to open the vault. You should return later when she has had a chance to organize her monkey workers. This may take a while. Stricture? No. No, I will not be finishing the Towers of Hanoi puzzle. because that would be unfair to literally everyone here. I have a Foxfire candle. I'm saving it for something else, but I do have a Foxfire candle. So, just so everyone knows what this guy's talking about, there's a bit when you're exploring the Vault of the First Emperor where you have to do a Towers of Hanoi puzzle in text-based form. Except because the Towers of Hanoi puzzle has been expanded by a whole bunch of rods and discs, you have to do somewhere around 200 separate moves. In the middle of that, there is a move that will, if you're just auto-clicking, reset the entire puzzle. And even if you finish the puzzle, it just clicks and does nothing. You are in fact supposed to find a way around the puzzle by blowing the whole thing up with dynamite. Yeah, this, the entire Empire of Hand is a gigantic trolling attempt by Fail Better Games. It's beautiful. However, we have the gift for the Monkey Emperor, which means we can now reach Sovereign Island. The gates are guarded by 2 armored monkeys that would look adorable if not for the blood on their bayonets. Humans are not welcome without an invitation or a worthy gift for the Emperor. The stench and heat as the gates open are a sucker punch to your senses. Inside, the stagnant air of the windowless wood palace hangs with sweat and tastes of hair. Everything is filthy and every surface used. The apes are as likely to swing across the roof as walk the floors. In prized oases of relative calm, the high-souled conduct themselves with the poise of high-born lords and ladies. Among them, their barely uplifted lessers scamper around exhausted, taking orders and cruelties from all who care to dispense them. In the middle are countless more, a sea of apes longing for advancement and fighting for what they have with tooth, claw, and low cunning. Emperor Crispin IV holds court in the heart of his palace. None may speak without permission, but the voice of the Emperor is still the least heard of all. To step into his throne room is to step into another world, a polished one of cool and blessed quiet that already feels as alien as it is pleasant. The Emperor sits on his throne, wrapped in robes of violet and wearing an ornate golden mask. He remains motionless, silent. He could be mistaken for a statue, if not for an almost imperceptible nod to grant his seneschal permission to speak in his name. She approaches, arms folded in the red-trimmed yellow robes of a court mandarin. Her expression is carefully blank, the chestnut hair on her face powdered alabaster white, and decorated with exquisite detail in red and black. The rings on her fingers mark her as a 10-souled ape, a status even the Admiralty can respect. She bows before you, a complicated ritual display of sweeping sleeves that somehow never breaks eye contact. Finished, she waits for your response. So, here's an important thing. There's no difference between bowing and curtsying. It's basically just down to what you prefer to do. However, the challenge is figuring out who you should actually bow to. Because the instinct, if you're an idiot, is to bow to the seneschal because she just bowed to you. But the seneschal speaks and acts in the Emperor's name, so you actually need to bow to him. We, unfortunately, are not very good at this. Now, it's not a problem if we fail, but if we succeed, we get a bonus here. Oh! 20% chance, 1 in 5 shot, we did it. You curtsy deeply, but not to the exquisite seneschal. She is but the voice of the Emperor, and it is to him that your respect is due. He makes no move and says nothing, but a test has been passed nonetheless. And we've gained 5... We started off with 5 status for the gift, and we've gained another 5 from doing that right. So we start off with 10 status in the court. The exquisite seneschal requests your assistance to supply the Empire of Hand's great work, a zeppelin that will take them to a new home far away from here. You point out that the Admiralty has the Empire of Hands both under embargo and quarantined. The only thing worse to be caught doing here than supplying them would be helping them escape their confinement. Have your people not already caused us enough pain? She demands. We starve, and you would prevent us being fed. We thirst to explore, and you cage us like animals. Why? For what purpose? What threat are we to you, who happily dine with devils? She shakes her head, almost with pity. What could you possibly see in us that shames you so? I'm just going to let that digest. I'll note, even if I'm going to accept this, but I'm not actually going to do it. Even if you accept it, you don't have to finish this quest. And I'm fairly certain that refusing will get you kicked out of court. The exquisite seneschal bows again, deeper. With a pair of servants to row the boat, she takes you to the Zeppelin site in Port Stanton. It was originally the project of a traveler from afar hoping to travel east who encountered an accident. In his plans and engine, however, the monkeys saw their opportunity. The great exodus will require supplies and fuel, of course, explains the exquisite seneschal. We also seek souls to uplift our brethren that they may join the work. You will, of course, be reasonably compensated for your expenses and rewarded upon completion. She also hints there may be faster ways to complete the Zeppelin. To say more, though, would require a level of trust that you have not yet earned. Now here's something. You remember how the delightful adventuress sold her soul to the mayor? The last time we met the mayor, he was basically a monkey. He could talk, but he was very sort of caveman-ish. Doing this actually changes his demeanor because now he has an extra soul. An audience with the civilized mayor. Talk business? Why, yes, of course we shall. But after a cup of tea, one must do these things correctly. Darling, do come in, the civilized mayor purrs. Whatever can I do for you? The soul of the delightful adventuress sits comfortably in him, a four-souled ape of cold ambition and very few scruples. I just wanted to show that off. I won't actually be doing anything here. But yes, you can also sell your soul to this guy, and he will change again. Depending on which souls he has, he's an entirely different character. Now that the Admiralty has been brought up to date, this port report thing will be far quicker. Unfortunately, also less profitable. And finally, we can take shore leave. Monkey soldiers scour the jungle for fresh meat. The Empire has little of it, but the unsold monkeys are considered fair prey by their civilized and sold betters. So too are any humans who might disappear without too much trouble. Once back at court, both will be served up and heralded the finest venison, veal, chicken, and pork, for a court that knows what it's supposed to like, but not what it actually tastes like. You hide in the bushes until the hunting party is gone, and slip away undetected in the other direction. What else can we do at the court? So we can also sell our soul to different people here. But I'm not going to do that for now. As much as it is an easy source of money, I've always been very reluctant to sell my soul in this game. Take that as you will. We can also trade with them. No, sorry, not trade, an exchange of gifts. A small group of powder-faced apes in red-trimmed robes of the court mandarins invite you into a quiet, cushioned room. Drinks and honey cakes are served, and business carefully not discussed. After a while, however, the charade gives way to polite expectation. So, I'm just showing off what we can sell them. A gift of a crate of souls. A gift of a cask of wine. A gift of honey, prisoner's honey. A gift of red honey, which will get us a pot of Violent ink, which would be useful later. Or a gift of a rage-wrenched cinder. Or, with apologies, no gifts today. You do not have anything worthy of such company, or at least that is the lie it feels safest to tell them. It was, they do not feel the need to say, their pleasure. And we can visit court here, but that would require us to have something awaits you. So, with that, we are done at the Empire of Hands for now. Monkeys. Okay. So the next destination is Khan's Shadow to grab something. The next destination is underwater because I do not want to fight the glorious Dreadnought. Do not praise the sun. Is that moving? No, 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 no. Sorry about that. Seems that no matter where I go, I am being harassed by monsters. That is a Lornist fluke. It's a Lorn fluke, but more so. Bones lay scattered and gnawed on the Z-bed. Rib cages yawn open, breastbones shattered. Fragments of skull litter the sand like pearls. Let's scavenge. Oh, we failed. You scour the Z-bed, upturning once human fragments. A fractured skull whose teeth appear to have been forcibly removed. A tibia hollowed out and sucked dry of marrow. A single copper band on a hand severed at the wrist and plucked of fingers. The Z has been cruel. Yeah, normally Lorn flukes give you secrets if you kill them, but Lorna's flukes don't, and they're still a bit too difficult for me right now. It is? Yeah, I admit, it's been a while since I fought a Lorn fluke. Yeah, no, you get the Irigo core from them instead. Never mind. Oh, good timing. We're running low on oxygen, and this thing refills it partway. Since we are not visiting Nook this time, it's probably time to surface as soon as we can see it. Oh. Hi. The quartermaster has been complaining of food going missing of late, and now you know why. The monkey foundling sits smiling innocently behind a crate, mouth surrounded by fresh crumbs and in a bed of... Wait, your stolen clothes? Yeah, you seemed fun, she says. She desperately wants to explore the Z with you. Fine. She can earn her keep doing odd jobs for now. Your treasures need polishing, your mug needs filling. In time, maybe you can make an officer out of her. Yay! The monkey foundling hugs you tight and asks, eyes sparkling, where you keep the weapons. So, you remember how we have the albino tinkerer mascot that gives us fails? The monkey foundling is a mascot that gives 5 hearts. Yeah, I was honestly wondering when that would happen. It happens at some point after you finish that storyline on the Empire of Hands, but it's kind of random. Anyway, Khan's shadow. Port report. And I believe that we can place a Blemigan here. The exiles are unlikely to be bothered by one more outcast. The Blemigan disappears into the moist shadows of a nearby wreck. A shadow watches it go. Mushrooms, she says cheerfully. I've missed mushrooms. And shop-wise, what we want here is we want to buy an empty mirror catch box. As well as a bit of fuel. Oh geez, if that's true, Stricture, if that's the case, sorry, obviously it is. I don't know what I'm saying. That's a reference to the orphanage from Fallen London, which is okay. So there's an actual orphanage, and then there's the orphanage, which is not a nice place. It's basically a orphanage slash mental asylum that's meant to use people as food for weird Lovecraftian creatures. Anyway, we have our mirror catch box. And we are going to set for Eastival. Yeah. There's just a whole lot of little things like that. Like, just the fact that the orphanage you send the monkey foundling to is pretty much confirmed to be the same orphanage that the player character of Fallen London can start. Cataloging all the peculiarities of the place takes many pages. The tailor who imports gilt buttons and braid just to be able to keep everyone's uniform in condition. The fashion of wearing a post bag with nothing inside. Wearing it open, wearing it upside down, torn apart, or as a hat, wearing it in any way that will show it doesn't have letters in it. Then there are the sitting rooms papered in cancelled stamps. The bergamot pomegranate curd on toast. The commerce in rat corpses. The hatred of cats. The absolute custom against ever issuing a paper invitation for any event, no matter how formal. It's the familiarity, the not quite Londonness of the place that makes it all so odd. So now that we actually have a fairly high mirrors skill, it might be worth it to try this. But on the other hand, our terror is at 47. Yeah, no, it's not worth it right now. The next part of Nuncio is, in fact, going into the basement. But, that's not the point of today's trip. Capacity 31. Okay. That'll work. So, aside from doing the normal things we do here, we have this. Seek the Iron and Misery Company prototype component. The Cannoneer Points. There, the black rocks on the south side of the island where nothing grows. We'll need labor and supplies to dig it out. This will consume the supplies, but not the crew. Days of back-breaking labor unearth a cache of old bones, curios, and a meteorite. A broken armature of steel and copper sheathes its sides. The sailors fall back before it as the glyphs on its side crawl with fire. "This is it!" the cannoneer cries. "This must be what broke the roof. It's very frightening. A seal of the red science! I never thought I'd see such a thing. But it's sleeping. We'll need a judgment's egg and my friends in the Iron Republic. We might be able to find an egg in Irem." The crew shrink back a little. "Oh, such larks! Such larks!" We now have one seal of the red science, as well as outlandish artifact and judgment's egg. We gain some terror and a secret. Now, the seal of the red science just takes up space. We're going to want to get rid of that as soon as possible, and for that we'll need the judgment's egg. We're going to Irem anyway, so I'm not entirely sure what I'll need, but I'll have to see. I forgot that you need the judgment's egg for this. Let's fill our mirror catch box. We didn't get wounded. Nice. And we can gather supplies. We lost 1 crew, but got 9 supplies, which completely recoups our investment for the seal of the red science, and adds 4 more. Plus, in this case, losing crew is actually a net positive, because, well, less crew means the hunger meter goes up slower. Now, before I head up to Irem, I am going to quickly visit the Gant pole, because that's why I brought the Foxfire candle. Yeah, that's probably the case. Shoot. Well. Although I know where I can get a judgment's egg, actually. The box. Now, I will have to pay for it, and I've been putting that off because there is a way to get it for free, but the payment is not all that bad. It's like 500 echoes. But the whisper-locked box that we've been sitting on in Irem, not in Irem, in the Isle of Cats, one of the things you can get from that is a judgment's egg. Anyway, Gant pole. Yes, I know. Well, less than Irem, and you can get it at the basically, okay, what I'm saying is right now it's 500 echoes. If I were to do the entire Isle of Cats storyline, which is long and complicated, then I would be able to get the box for free. The leathery carcasses of hollowed-out beasts line the ventricles of this stone heart. Ancient blubber bubbles up around paths of bone and hide that squelch with every step. A distant drip carves eternity into hours. Port report. Cut some flesh for the shell in it. I don't believe that takes up hold space. It does not. And here's what I brought the Foxfire candle for. Exploring further into the Gant pole. You might think, won't you need more candles for that? Most of the things in this game require multiple candles. Exploring the Gant pole is actually hilariously easy. You need 1 candle to go in. The flame flickers as you approach the dry tunnels. A slight breeze pulses through them, carrying with it a pungent cocktail of salt, stale air, and decay. You don't actually need any items to continue here, unlike every other area of this type in the game. Something at the center of the Gant pole calls to you, to the part of you that feels tired, weary, that craves sleep without the inevitability of waking. The more you walk, the closer you will get. We currently have a 0% chance of success. A gentle hum guides your feet forwards. Your eyes feel heavy. Somewhere here is a place you can sleep. You have earned your rest. There is no need to awaken. We now have a 6% chance. You pass an encampment of sailors. They stare at you, refusing to talk. You move onwards and deeper into the heart. Shivers of calcified heart rain down from the cracked ventricle roof, or slivers. Every tunnel twists and turns. Is little treasure really so much to ask for in such a grim place? The light of your candle flickers. In the darkness behind you, footsteps. You brush your hand against the rippled edges of the tunnel. Another ventricle. Was it flesh before it was stone? Every tunnel twists and turns. We've done that one. We shall all return. A glimmer of silver behind sight. The sharp smell of salt. Where old sailors go to die. At the very center of the heart, the old sailors sit meditating around a briny pool of Gant, the color that remains when all others are gone. Most of their clothes have rotted away to nothing or been discarded with the rest of their old lives. The oldest of them sit like statues around the pool. Thick layers of salt armor their desiccated skin. The liquid drips through your fingers. There must be something infused with its impossible color. The absence of color, the presence of form. You fish into the pool, a few stones of no worth, discarded rags. Ah, this will suffice. A shell so infused with Gant, it is barely even visible in the light. So, for a while we've been sitting on the 5 colors we have left to give back to that guy in Venderbite. But Gant is one of them, so the next time we go back there, we will be able to turn in this star shell, which is this thing. Did a judgment hatch from this grim relic, or was it something else entirely? Don't look too closely at the eye-hurting absence of color. Right. We should be able to just head straight north. What is a judgment? That is a very good question. Demiser of D is correct. Judgments are stars. They're essentially the gods of this setting. That's the reason that sunlight is so dangerous, because it is concentrated correct. Like, you, as this weird underground, semi-undying sailor, are incorrect. You are not supposed to be like this. Actually, You know what? I'm going to take a shot at something. Back to Eastaville. And I'm going to go beachcombing for once. Okay. I believe that something glinting is correct here. Nope, drowning pearls. It's possible, as I've been told, to get a Judgment's Egg from beachcombing on Eastaville, but it doesn't look like we managed it this time. We did get pearls, though. Oh, darn. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this game I've never necessarily done all that much. So there's just some stuff I just don't know. Yeah. Technically, we could kill that for Heart of a Legend, and it would actually be a really good thing to do because the Fathom King would like that a lot and reward us extra. But on the other hand, that's the fucking Tree of Ages. It's got, like, 900 health. I don't want to fight that. Oh, hey, an abyss. Graves. No, this is the wrong one. The next abyss we would need to go to continue the Lady Black storyline is the Abyss of Pyres. It goes Scriptures, Pyres, Pomegranates, Graves. Yep. I know about the crawly noises, don't you worry. We're not quite scared enough for that to happen. As I think I've tested this once or twice, it shows up at 70. Well, it can show up at 70. And here we are in Irem. Let's just check that. Oh, 10 secrets? That's not actually all that bad. I'm considering that one. I mean, technically also, to get a direct idea of the price, secrets can be gotten for free by just exploring. Stricture, that seems like a terrible idea. I am playing this as if it's Iron Man. But yeah, secrets you can buy at Irem for about 1,000 echoes, which means that they're essentially selling the Judgment's Egg for 10,000 echoes. But we have it. Still, though, I'm probably going to go with the box. Now, on the other hand, alright, I'm actually going to grab 2 fuel for the trip. No, 4 fuel for the trip back. What we want to do here after a port report is pay coffee to the House of the Amber Sky. Which, if you remember, we show up in the Mirror Marches. And what we want is rarest fruit. In the farthest south, in the arms of the god called Stone, a garden blooms. In ages past, birds stole the seeds from the garden. One bird hid here in the Mirror Marches. Perhaps you know the story. We will be spending our 1 searing enigma that we got from Visage. There's a lot of ways to get an egg. I don't actually remember most of them. I'll have to check this between streams. This is the apple tree which will never die. Should the forest fall and the river run to ash, still it will stand proudly. Take only 1 apple. Serpents are sleeping. We now have 1 Hesperidian apple, the apples of immortality. This is the fruit of the eternal tree. Scratch 1 off for the Fathom King. In fact, scratch 2 off for the Fathom King because that sunlight-filled mirror catch box, that is the that's the skylight we needed. I don't think you can eat it. Wait, can you? The masters of the bazaar know how to ferment these into an elixir of immortality. A raw apple won't be quite as potent, but it will still perk you up no end. This will cure all wounds and substantially reduce terror. Tempting, but I have no wounds and I need it for something else. Yeah, unfortunately, the immortality you can't get from eating the raw apples, you need Hesperidian cider. And by the way, all this stuff to do the Seal of the Red Science thing, that's actually directly relevant to our objective, because you might have guessed, but this thing that we're building, this weird weapon, absolutely counts as a marvel of science for the Fathom King. And so does the things we're about to do at Port Cecil. It is a good gun, but we would actually have to get a different ship in order to use it. Because our current ship does not have a forward weapon slot. And that gun is a forward weapon. So let's drop off the checkered character for 100 echoes. He waits eagerly by the rail. He lifts his head to inhale. I can can already smell the chess," he announces. "Thank you? Farewell?" He says neither of those things. He drops a sweaty bundle of banknotes into your hand and hares off up the hill, fingers twitching to begin a game. Game players, eh? Got our intelligence. And we can play chess. Your opponent shakes your hand. "Time to go," she tells you, "but don't worry, you'll be back." Her touch lingers. Her fingers are cold. You don't know how long you've been playing. You've won a match, another. The rough coral tips of your chess pieces are smeared with blood. Yours, your opponent's. But you have begun to realize that your moves recapitulate the movements of the powers of the Neath, the flukes and their shapelings, the bazaar that lurks in London, Mount Nomad that prowls the sea, salt, stone, storm. With every move you take, the shape of it becomes clearer in your mind, sharper. "Checkmate," you say. "One more game?" Your first officer is tugging at your arm. Ignore them. You have chess to play. One more shot. Or no, it's still not a big deal. Okay, no, I see. It's 2 possible failure states. And now we're at 80 terror, which is not great. We should gather Skintellect, though. Oh, God, more terror. Wonderful. Okay. I was hoping we would get more done at Port Cecil. Or, bloody hell. But, it looks... Yeah, 2 possible winning states. I really don't want terror to get to 100. That would be not great. Next time we go to Port Cecil, I'm going to go there directly. Because doing this with high terror is annoying. This time, though, even though it's risky, even though we might run into something underwater, I'm going to try for Scrimshander. One other time, I believe it was you, Zeno, you mentioned that Scrimshander sounds like a scary place. It's made of bones. Before you looms the bone tower of Scrimshander, the city of remembrance. Ivory structures jut from the pile, supported by buttressing tusks. As your light plays across them, you can make out inscriptions, names, pictures, and dozens of lost languages. The largest ones carry a warning. All are welcome to enter, but none may depart without leaving something of themselves behind. A drownie floats before the docking gate of a bone cathedral. She wears a cowl and carries a ceremonial key carved from a femur. At your approach, she sings a solemn greeting. Soldier, scholar, servant of art, history welcomes without toll. But be warned, ere you depart, none who enter escape whole. Those noises are not from Scrimshander. Those noises are from the fact that I am underwater with 80 terror. The Guardian unlocks the ivory gates. Steel glints in her fingers as she carves an image of your ship into her massive bone key. Your brave crew decides to remain on the ship as you disembark from for the tower's dry center. So, deliver a monastic drownie. Your silent passenger is transfixed by the murals, eyes wide and mouth agape. His unrepeatable exclamation is the first word you've ever heard from him. Something within the monastic drowning has been unloosed at the sight of such sweeping histories. After such a long time silent, he is eager to share his own smaller stories, and until he can earn his own bone quill, you are his captive audience. The coins he gives you are valuable, but not as much as the tales that tumble out of him. You walk down a damp nave of bone. Intricately carved ivory walls depict improbable scenes from history. The walls are edged in tiny finger bones, each bearing a single name. Inhabitants wear ashen robes and carry steel-tipped bone quills, but you recognize most as drownies or shell-end expatriates. While most are quiet and ignore visitors, you hear heated arguments over interpretations of the sacred remains. Sacred remains which will include whatever you leave behind when you depart. After saying a wordless prayer, the truth-hunting Shell-in-it stands and clasps you in a fierce embrace. In addition to payment, she proudly presents you with a garland of shark's teeth. My days of hunting monsters is over. Now I hunt heroes through the ages. Got our port report. The inhabitants of Scrimshander spend much of their time preying on the mysteries of the past. They spend almost as much time arguing about their interpretations. Salted residents often collect nearby salvage, studying the results and inscribing their interpretations on any skeletal remains. But those who leave too often are easily recognized by what they have left behind in their travels: memories, personalities, and bones. Otherwise, they rarely consider the present, certainly not with the same focus they give to the histories buried within their tower. Recent world events are met with polite silence unless it prompts an anecdote about similarities with antiquity. Apart from old grudges and new theories, very little changes here. Gather at the stage of history. Actors strut in an amphitheater of bone, performing historical plays of dubious veracity. An audience watches from below, with each roaring drunk member applauding or jeering different details of the work. Above, an imperious figure wearing a crown of ivory judges each performance from a raised theater box. All are served by a single man, weaving between the crowd and wearing a perpetual smirk. The mushroom wine he serves is stale. The plays he announces are questionable at best. But the impeccably bearded man with the olive skin laughs at every performance and has a smile for every patron. Some cheer history as the work of brave and inspired heroes, especially them who wish they could be heroes themselves. The glib historian rolls his eyes theatrically. Others say it's all shaped by cyclical changes in scientific progress, economics, and such. But nothing gets in the way of a good story quite like nuance. He spits out the word like a rotten grape. We let him argue up on the stage and give an ivory crown to whoever's most convincing at the moment. He waves a hand at the temporary monarch in the raised seat above. But far as I'm concerned, he confides, filling a patron's mug with cheap wine, history is what you make of it, and I make a killing. You've learned enough about history to distrust any one person's interpretation. I really like the glib historian. The Shell-in-its champions hope to regain their prestige by staging a heroic play. Assist their research in the Ivory Archives and they'll give you a hero's reward. They assure you that any hero will do as long as their deeds are suitably profound. Ideally bloody, but the details are negotiable. We'll have to take care of this later. You can also watch a dramatic reenactment. Scrimshander does kind of remind me of some of the weirdness of Umineko. Ah! God, I forgot about this. That's really good. You lose terror by watching plays. A city rises and falls in a matter of hours, with cast members playing a dozen roles over the years. The dance number at the end is a crowd pleaser. Afterwards, the Drowny King assures the crowd that the dancing was strictly allegorical. Yeah, this is actually a good deal. I forgot about this. We can pay 50 echoes to lose a whole bunch of terror. I'm actually going to take advantage of this and bring our terror down to 4. Nope, sorry, we will not be seeing the Constant Companion today. And we can wander the halls. The simple houses are built with bricks of ash and bone dust. Each bears a finely engraved story, from the mundane to the profane. Some bricks tell the same tales from different and contradictory sources. You spend a quiet hour reading the side of a derelict house. A handful of its tales are suspiciously familiar. It is possible to kill it. I personally cannot at the moment, because it has 750 health. Anyway, let's leave. Were there quite this many guards when you came in? Was there always a pile of fresh bones by the entrance? No one may depart Scrimshander without leaving something of themselves behind by which to be remembered. Tradition demands it, as do the muscular guards at the gate. Their sharpened bone quills are at the ready to collect your donation. We can provide transport for a scholar, which I will do. But also, here's the things we can leave behind, for the record. A story. 5Z stories, which we got from... that's the thing. When you bring those 2 people to Scrimshander, they each give you one of the items you need to leave safely. So you can spend 5 stories. Leave behind a past triumph. A hunting trophy, of which we have 1. Leave behind vitality. Stack bricks of bone and ash to build the tower and earn your leave. 1 iron. Leave behind your warmth. You don't really need it down here, do you? 1 hearts. Or, leave something a little more tangible. 1 guard carries a butcher's cleaver. With a shudder, you recall how many finger bones decorate the tower. So if you don't have any of this stuff to give, you can have one of your fingers cut off as your price. We will not be doing that. Provide transport for a scholar. In search of history's loot, a bandaged scholar stands near the exit, angrily brushing ash off himself. As you approach, he brusquely demands passage to Hideaway. Of course he'll pay. He's studied remains of 100 wars and read 1,000 bitter ends. Now he seeks the survivors so he can interview with them in person. He assures you that it's a purely academic interest. In his life, he has been splendid. Personally, that's a bit of a weird typo. He merely wishes to see how they live with themselves. This guy's called the Scholar of Lost Causes. So, I'm going to leave behind our hunting trophy. Some other hero's tale. The guards light incense and clean the trophy with a musky oil. As you recount the victory that won it, a chronicler etches your words into its surface. The scratching of the bone quill grows louder in your ears with every word. By the time you've finished, your trophy has been replaced with an identical copy, but this one has been inscribed with a thrilling fictional tale. As you depart, you wonder if you would recognize the hero of such a thrilling yarn. We left some of our memories behind. Yeah, even though the Constant Companion is, No, if you get another trophy, you can repeat that. The Constant Companion will not be bugging us even though the skittering is still happening. Sorry about that, by the way. And now that I have, I don't have to deal
with having super high terror, thanks to Scrimshander, I can actually do shit at the Principles of Coral. So we're going to head back there real quick. So far, this has actually been karma. I was about to say this has been one of my more successful runs, and then a monster appears right in front of me. Alright. You don't know how long you've been playing. You won a match. Another. Yeah, that's an albino moray. It's a giant eel. The rough coral tips of the chess pieces are... Oh wait, we've already read this one. Holy shit. That's 2 really hard successes in a row. An extra move. The chess players watch you carefully. No, one tells you. No, there's only one left who will play against you. You'll need an extra move to find it. As you reach the crossroads in Port Cecil, a voice whispers, "Pawn to bishop 6. A rearing shape the size of a cottage, rather like a mitred bishop indeed, stands 6 yards to your right. A crevice in its coral side might be a cave mouth. You squeeze through the crevice into a narrow space like a stair. Irregular steps lead down. The silver light is strong here, and it grows stronger with each step downwards. Silvery light fills a sea cave, dripping from the walls. It condenses to pools of whitish fluid on the uneven floor. Sea sound fills the cave. Strong and slow, like the long beating of a heart. On a square slab of coral, someone has set up a game of chess. The pieces are different from the ones used in London. You see the spiraling bishops, the corner roots, the kin, and the terrible cream. As you touch each one, a deep voice whispers its name. Move a paw. The cat's paw, perhaps, or the skin's paw. This is a safe move. Ah, the cavern breathes around you. That felt charming. Thank you, R. The game soothes the pangs of dissolution in. But I want so to be less. I am tired of thought. Will you help me? Sleep will not enough. I desire no dreams. Will you help? In the flow of air through the cavern, you hear the voice of the principals, languorously pleading. I offer an assistant, it flutes, and Skintilac. You enjoy Skintilac, aren't you? A rubbery man rises from a cyst in the floor. An iridescent cicatrice crosses its face. Even in this flood of silvery light, it pulses like a fevered moon. It shuffles closer. Short silence, it wheezes. Unprecedented! A rubbery capable of human speech, in however debased and pitiful a mode. My emissary, the cave whispers. Treat it gently. The whisper follows you back up the steps. Take it to the salt lions. So, remember how I was complaining about us not having a cook? Guess what? We have a good tentacle boy as our new cook. Hey, we have a strange catch. Let's invite it to dine with us. It shakes its head firmly, tentacles slapping its neck. Short silence, it lisps. Short Attention. It turns an earnest eye to you. Apparently it wants to visit the salt lines before it will speak further to you. At least no other crew were around to witness a rubbery man rejecting a human invitation. Yes, squid friend. I really like the Nacreous outcast. And we can gather Skintalak and have this happen again. Okay, Albino Mori's out of range. That's most of what I wanted to do. I guess our next destination is Frostfound, then Palmerston, then Venderbite, then back to London. Although, here's a question for you guys. Do you want to see something horrible? Good. Chapel of Lights. Eat as usual to get down our hunger. Gather intelligence. Attend a service at the chapel. The great bell tolls. The few and ragged faithful gather for St. Arthur's lesson. Bring your offerings. Oh yes, the priest says, smiling. The drowned man hums tonight. His song like fish roe clouds the water. He waits for the congregation's assent. We will feel him in the harps of us, and if his tune is caught, it will be raised to the sky, where the bright birds pass. Hear the congregation cry out like birds, and the cries rattle away into the rafters. And the air hangs sultry, and the gods no longer frown. At the end of the service you leave, your lips still wet, and your stomach filled with secrets. You could grow rich on this diet, if you live. We've gotten more cannibal taint. We'll need another 5 supplies the next time we do that. For St. Beau's lesson. So as you might have guessed, the Chapel of Lights is... yeah, basically, they worship a god called the Drowned Man, which Fallen London players might recognize as being the infamous Mr. Eaton. Demiser of D, Stricture, if you guys probably might be better at explaining Mr. Eaton than I am. I have to concentrate on the game, and you guys seem versed in lore. Okay, a white Zeebat. A Zailor has grown fevered and fretful and disobedient, reluctant to go on deck, even in port. There's a white Zeebat watching me up there. Salt's messenger. Salt's got its eye on me. I'll never see home again. If white Zeebats are sacred to Salt, perhaps you'll win Salt's favor, if you believe any of this. The Zeebat takes fungal crackers from your fingers as boldly as a parrot. It dips its head to you and chirrups something you might mistake for speech. It spreads its wings and leaps into the air. The next day, your crewman is gone, along with one of the ship's boats. No one saw him depart, or knows why. Yet don't shoot the Zeebat, because that's about as bad as shooting an albatross in the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. It will get you super cursed. Yep. In this case, bats are, in fact, friends. Well, except for the Vake. That's a bad bat. Also, those are ones that always hit my boat outside of Venderbite, because those ones are rude. I suppose while I'm just taking care of stuff over here. In Fallen London, there's a storyline called Seeking Mr. Eaton's Name. This storyline is a bad idea. It essentially requires you to destroy your own character in a browser-based MMO, with the end result being that you have to stop playing the game. And it gives you absolutely nothing except lore. Probably. I'm pretty sure Salt would just fucking kill you on the spot. You could do that, Frog. I have tried, but the problem is, it's such a long and arduous process that you actually have to put some effort into your extra character. So yeah, Mr. Eaton is one of the masters of the Bazaar and the current controllers of London, or was, before he was, well, eaten. And now he's just a living hole in existence. Anyway, let's buy some fuel. And an ambiguous Eolith that we will need later. And a couple of supplies for the way back. Oh wait, I still have to, Nope, it's still up. they had to remake it, so it was officially like covered by the company's like QA policy, because previously it was just something that one of the writers made on their own time that was play at your own risk. But no, it's still there and you can still absolutely do it. Done this before, and we get fragments. By the way, a small explanation about what we're talking about with stealing cities. Remember how I said that how the beginning of this game said that London was stolen by bats? London is the 5th city to be stolen. The previous city to London we know was Karakoram, the Mongolian capital. Before that, there's theories as to what the cities are. We know the third one was a probably an Aztec city, due to the culture surrounding Third City stuff. The second city was the Egyptian city of I think the name's Amarna, and that's a whole thing. And the first city stolen was, depending on which theory you go by, it's either the Mesopotamian city of Tel Brak or the Babylonian city of Uruk. One of the characters in Fallen London is heavily theorized to be Gilgamesh. Okay, yes, it was Amarna. That's actually confirmed. No, I believe it is confirmed when they mention the whole thing about Tutankhamun's daughters. There's really no other city it could be. Got the port report on Antha. Let's see if we can cultivate some sharpness. And we succeeded. The environment is a help, but you must also prepare your mind and your will. Going sharp means giving up many sensations. Or what the hell? Yeah, this is something that was explained the last time we went to Antha. Basically, it means letting parts of your body become crystal. It looks like there's not actually much I can do here right now because I misjudged some factor. Oh yeah, that was a thing. Nothing else to do here. Huh. Could have sworn that cultivating more capacity would let me do stuff immediately, but I guess not. What it does, Zeno, is it makes the operation of that thing, like, for example, we actually have a sharp organ. We did this before. Our liver is now crystal, which means we are immune to poisons. So, for example, let's say we let your lungs become a chamber of crystal. Breathe less often and more purely. Take on the companionship of divers, opera singers, coal miners, and producers of poisonous gas. Yeah, that sounds about right, Stricture. Mineralize your skeleton. Strength that cannot be seen is often the most praiseworthy. Walk among the laborers, the circus strongwomen, the persons of iron will and unshakable integrity. Let your skin be clear as water and hard as armor. This is where the fighters are, and those who got tired of their scars, and the people too proud to hide anything about themselves. Yeah, no. I'm going to stop there. Taking enough sharpnesses, by the way, Zeno, actually allows you to directly raise your stats in some areas, which is important. Almost there. Oh, hey, what's this? That is not a wreck ship, that is an actual shipwreck. Nice. A Corsair wreck. High-risk hearts challenge, okay. Oh yeah, we did this one already. It's the weird, white-eyed woman. Yeah, that is kind of unfortunate. There's not actually a lot of, like, continuity between islands. The only things that actually care if you're sharp are people on Antha and a very few other specific circumstances. Then again, you could say that the stat boost you get at the end of that storyline is your actual acknowledgement by others. But, yeah. Pomegranates, so close. We need pyres. So we're back to Venderbite for the first time in a while. Here's a place where we can search for the constable, which gives us a 45% chance, okay. Nothing but the newly dead. Inside the storehouse, you find... There's whispering among the bandaged denizens of Venderbite. White carriages are visiting an abandoned storehouse. Maybe the constable is looking into that? Inside the storehouse, you find coffins propped against the walls and laid across the floor. You pry one open, cracking the half-rotten wood. An immaculately dressed corpse frowns within. It tries not to stir. You open another and another, until one gently takes you by the wrist. We cannot die truly here, but some of us would like to pretend. Won't you leave us in peace? So, let's visit the first curator and give it our star shell. The Gantt source that we got from that pool in the Gantt poll. Disappointing. It wheezes. It looks imagined, almost unreal. A memory. But enough. Your payment is there. A human skull sits atop a dusty notebook. So, now all we need is Vieric, Violent, Cosmogon, and Aposayan. Aposayan we will get either way by pursuing the Principles of Coral storyline. And let's explore. You wander the echoing streets alone. From time to time, the sensation of being watched comes upon you, but each time when you halt, you hear no other's footsteps. Nothing eventful, only eerie. But when you return to the quayside, someone has left an odd, bulky box for you. There is no bill of landing, but the name of your ship is attached to a tag. Okay. Sure. And since we don't have anything better to do with it, we can sell our recent news here for 10 echoes. And we're almost back at London. To get back there, I can take care of a few things, and then we can finish up the stream. Oh, hold on. Pirate ship. And this one's easy enough to bully. And we got a firkin of prisoners' honey. This is what they call prisoner's honey, wrung by the lamplighter bee from the exile's rose. I wonder who made up all these names, remarks able seaman Carget. Someone who read sight too many books, I'm thinking. Yes, I still have to bully the banana today. Today's actually an easy one for me because I get to actually... the hands are the right... the correct class for me to use riders, which means I can use my level 71 Grailed Medusa. Medusa is... I don't think I've actually... Recently someone said that they hadn't heard me say it, and I realized I haven't said it online as much, but Medusa is my #1 top favorite servant ever, and has been since I first read Fate's Day Night. Yeah, I've been working on 6 million setups, but I haven't figured one out yet. I'm not very good at the actual game. As soon as the gangplank touches the quayside, the terrors of the deep sea lighten. Walk taller, smile more readily. But what dreams may cling? Hey, we can get extra money for Skintalak at The Rose Market this time. 105 for 1. It makes admirable jewelry, she explained, but exceptional tea. 2 of the market's horse mask attendants help her wheel the box away. Yeah, 5-star wise, I got Vlad from the Guaranteed Gacha, and I have Gilgamesh, Arturia, Jack, and Dantes. Aside from Vlad. Most of those were off of ticket spooks. It's become something of a running joke in my friend's Discord group that I have stupid luck. So as a note, if you successfully come back to London with a box of sunlight in your hold, you can actually sell it to the Blind Bruiser. And he has a funny thing. He actually, he's essentially a more reliable way to sell your sunlight than the Isle of Cats, which can end up in you, like, losing your box. I am not going to do this, I just want to read his dialogue because I love all of the Blind Bruiser's dialogue. I was just saying to myself, how could the evening be further improved, and I replied to myself, perhaps only if my most very favourite captain were to return right now with some of the golden stuff in the captain's hold. And strike me dead if you didn't appear. We'll take the golden stuff off of your hands for a price which I must say surpasses the generous and enters the realm of the charitable donation. God, I love this guy. And what else do we have to do? I think we're basically good for now. As long as I remember to get rid of the sunlight at the Fathom King's Hold as soon as I possibly can, then I think we're good for today. Alrighty. Oh, yes. The ship is still named Funk Engine. It's going to continue being named that until we get another ship. This is the future you chose. And yeah, I think that's it. I will go ahead, save the game, and, well, how long have we been running? We have been... I have no idea. For about 3 hours. Yeah, that's about right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. It's been a great time. I have loved all of this discussion. We got a whole bunch of stuff done today. We've already gotten 2 of the Fathom King's things that he needs. And we're well on our way to the other ones. So, with that, I believe this stream is finished. Have a great Sunday, everyone, and I will see you next time. Yes, Frog. Actually going to check something again while you ask that question. This might be a good opportunity to do this. I don't believe the Constant Companion is Heart of a Legend. The Heart of a Legend possibilities are Mount Nomad, the Tree of Ages, the Merciless Modiste, and the Pirate Poet. Now, I'm actually going to try this once now. challenge, just as a way to finish off this whole thing, this stream, I am going to stack my officers to ensure I have as much Veils as possible. Okay, Veils plus 8. Veils plus 3. Okay, are there any gunnery officers that give Veils? Yes. Presbyterate Adventurous gives Veils 3. Chief Engineer, we've already got the highest one. Cook doesn't need to be changed. First officer. We can put the person we're trying to kill as our first officer. Let's give this one a shot. Talk to the first officer. Play Knife and Candle. 22% chance of success. This will wound us if we lose. But I'm willing to risk this one. Nope. A game of cat and mouse. You smell her perfume just an instant too late. A gloved hand closes over your mouth, stifling your scream as a blade scrapes your bone. Something catches you as you fall to the deck, a softness behind the pain. Your head rests in folds of silk, a cool, tender caress. Shh, whispers the modiste, cradling your head in her lap, tipping it back. Her knife slices playfully across your throat, just enough to leave its mark. Sleep, my captain, sleep. We shall play again soon enough, you and I. Since we're in port and can just immediately sleep off the wounds, we can try this one more time safely. And nope. We did not manage it. That's about what I expected. Over time, whenever we get back to London, I'm going to try doing this again until we manage to beat her. See, we've lost 2 wounds for 100 echoes and lost some terror. I will do this again next time, so once again, I will save the game. And I will see you guys later. Unless we have any more questions. Does not sound like it. Alrighty. See ya.